begin to thank you all very much for being here. I'm Congressman Kevin Brady, and I'm here today because there is a key issue, how we fund our Homeland Security. Right now, log jammed up in the Senate. A month ago, the House acted to fully fund our Department of Homeland Security at record levels. Record levels of funding for Border Patrols, record level funding for Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Now, the bill went beyond that because we got some other challenges. What the bill did was fully fund E-Verify, so the local businesses can quickly check that they're hiring legal workers. That's important. It stops the president's unconstitutional executive order that grants amnesty to almost 5 million people living here illegally. And then finally, it freezes the president's order from 2012 that encouraged all these young unaccompanied children to surge across the Texas border in hopes of permits that don't exist, by the way. And by the way, they're still coming across the border. And so I'm here today to let the public know that bill's been sitting in the Senate for a month. 5 times, Republicans have asked to vote on the bill and to get it moving just to debate it. 5 times, Democrats in the Senate have blocked even the bill being debated, much less amended. And the truth of the matter is the clock is ticking. February 27th, funding for the agency runs out. You know, the good news is 90% of the Department of Homeland Security is essential, so it will continue to do its job, but it shouldn't have to. I mean, there's no reason for the Senate not to act now. I don't know what the Democrats are afraid of. You know, I feel that they want to fund Homeland Security fully. I don't know why they wouldn't. I think they're probably ducking a debate that calls on them to defend the president's immigration actions. I don't think they want to do it. And so they're holding Homeland Security funding hostage. I think that's wrong. We ought to do what's best for the country. We ought to fund our Homeland Security. And we ought to have an up or down debate in the Senate on whether the president's immigration actions were lawful or not. And so House Republicans in the House have done their job for more than a month now. It is time for the Senate to act. However they choose to vote is up to them. But move something out. And I'm convinced they could do it next week. The House is ready to take up their bill. We can do this, frankly, before funding runs out. With that, I know I really appreciate our Sheriff, Travis Neeley, an old friend, dear friend, being here today, Constable Weathers, Constable Turner. Thank you for being here. Can I ask Constable Weathers, would you like to make a comment on this at all? Constable Turner at all?
I'd just like to see them to get back to business at the Senate and Congress. We don't need to be dragging feet on a lot of these. I guess I don't know. I just like to see us get back to business. We're not taking care of business. Everybody needs to do their job. That's what they get paid and sent up there for.
Yeah. Just do your job.
That's it.
Yeah. Sheriff, would you like to come on up and comment if you want?
To add to what Congressman said, something is definitely got to be funded on it. This is getting ridiculous. My colleagues to the south, we talk all the time, and they are facing worse issues than I am because they have to deal with this. They are the first line response down there on the border. It's taxing them. It's taxing the DPS. We lose half of our troopers here for border security down there. So, the funding is crucial. It's got to go through the issues that they're looking at, the sensors and the resources. It's just common business principles. You got to have this. But the idea that we have to secure that border first before we move forward with anything is my main concern. Because who's to say what's not already here? And in my mind, and from what my colleagues tell me, it's a perfect breeding ground for terrorists to come in. So if we don't take a serious approach on that, will face consequences like Copenhagen, Paris, and everywhere else. And nobody wants to see that. I mean, none of us want to see that. I think it's very crucial, it's critical. I mean, I support, we gotta get something done. As soon as better.
Getting something done, Sheriff,
Yeah,
that's
something
exactly
done.
right. And we
Sooner
talked
the better.
beforehand, look, we just gotta do what's best for the country, but you gotta do your job, and we need the House and Senate to both act, and we'll find common ground.
All they have to do is watch the international news. You look at Denmark, Copenhagen, you look at Paris. I mean, this is an eye-opener. This is a prerequisite to what we're gonna deal with. Our colleagues over there across the ocean are dealing with it now. So, none of us want that in our backyard, but we're gonna get it if we don't watch out.
Well, this you heard it from the law enforcement who are here. Stop playing games with Homeland Security. Just stop playing games. Take an up or down vote on funding Homeland Security in the Senate. Take an up or down vote on whether you agree with the President's immigration order or not, and then pass whatever you decide out. The House will take it up quickly. We're ready to act. We've acted. Let's get this done. So can we stop and just any questions, any thoughts, and not just for me, but on our law enforcement leaders?
Even though they would actually, if you could get a vote in the Senate, though, don't you still face a veto threat from the president?
Yes, but my belief is just because the president's threatened to veto something doesn't absolve me of my job to do my best. So, I think the best solution is fully fund Homeland Security and repeal the president's executive order so that he has to work with Congress. So, but none of that happens until the Senate acts. And I would hate to see the funding bill be on February 27th and not get done ahead of that. Homeland Security will work, but why even do that? We got time to do it.
What will it mean, for you guys here in Madison County on the local level, if that funding's not there after next week, what does that mean for you guys locally?
Well, somebody's gonna have to provide the service, Yes, DHS critical employees will still report to work, but that's gonna be a reduced number. Their support assets are gonna be down and everything else, which the state of Texas is gonna look at assigning more troopers to that area to fill that void. When they do that, they put them in counties like mine. So instead of having a 4-man duty station here, I only have one. He's got his days off, and his time off, his vacation stuff. So it's gonna strap me locally here, which it already does, because somebody gotta pick up the slack while 2 troopers are on the border. I only got 3.
Yeah.
So I've got to cover all the accidents and everything else that goes along with them, where they normally help me out. I gotta pick up that slack. So when this bogs down, in other words, the whole system bogs down. It's like a drain line. Plug up the end, it's gonna back up way over here. And somebody gotta fix it. So I'll give up 2 troopers here to go down there to pull a week at the border. They're gonna have to find more if this funding falls through. And, the DHS and Border Patrol, these guys, they can't work for free. So then what you're gonna happen, what ideal time for a terrorist strike would be. You've got DHS in the state of quandary. You got most of your federal law enforcement is related to Homeland Security, but taken in the state of quandary. Who's gonna have to handle it? Sheriff Travis Neeley with a $2 million budget. Okay, we have a problem already. My colleagues down south got the same problem. We got a limited budget. They can't tackle problems like that. A major catastrophe like Copenhagen, it'd be a nightmare. It'd be a nightmare. So, it's got to trickle down. Affects here, but it's going to actually affect way up here in the end.
Congressman,
Judge, come on in. I apologize. I should introduce you earlier. That's my bad.
I just wanted to ask you, isn't the problem primarily the fact that the minority party in both the Senate and the House don't want to bring this up so they can kind of lay it at the majority party's feet, and have a government shutdown? And
Yeah, I think they're playing politics with this issue.
That's
This should be
exactly
very
what I'm
clear.
saying.
You fund Homeland Security.
Exactly.
And you vote up or down on whether you agree with the
Put the
president's.
safety of the American people first, politics second.
Mhm.
I agree. Thanks, Judge. Any other questions, thoughts?
Does the local law enforcement, don't you receive grant funding from the DHS for equipment and things like that as well? So it doesn't affect any of your operations in that way?
That's all funnel for primarily border counties down there, because they say they're hurting so bad. That most of the funding goes down there. And they go to joint operations, multi-agency task operation. I mean, do I have a flood of illegals coming across the Navajo River like sheriff's down on the border in Rio Grande? No. But what I do have is when all of my state law enforcement is gone to tackle that problem, then the other problems that start folding over here have to be dealt with on a local level, starts overtaxing me.
Anything else? Thank you again. Thanks for being
Hey,
with me today.
glad you
Whenever we
come
talk
around.
about these issues, I
Good
think
to
you
see you
guys
again, bud.
you're doing great. You're doing a terrific job.
Hang in there.
Sir, thank you.
Don't
Good
let it
job.
get you down.
Thanks, sir. And let me know what we can do to help. I know